It's midnight and you are tuning in to Nightline with me, Nadia Azmi. The headlines. PM's maiden visit to Japan achieves its objectives. And fear of monkeypox virus. The government has no plan to close country's border. Malaysia and Japan have agreed to upgrade bilateral relations to a more comprehensive level while continuing with the Look East policy. Following this outcome, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob considered the objectives of his maiden official working visit to Japan to strengthen the long-established ties between Malaysia and the country have been achieved. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, when summing up his visit to Japan, said he had proposed the Malaysia-Japan ties to be upgraded to comprehensive strategic partnership and stated Malaysia's readiness to continue with the Look East policy, which were well received by his Japanese counterpart, Fumio Kishida, during their meeting in Tokyo on Friday. He added both he and Kishida also agreed to discuss further to coordinate in terms of upgrading ties, and both countries will draft out clearer outlines on the closer relations, including by establishing new areas of cooperation such as energy, smart city, environment and climate change.
Jepun telah pun Perdana Menteri Jepun mencadangkan supaya diwujudkan Asia Zero Emission Community, dan ini selari dengan dasar Malaysia untuk menjadikan Malaysia sebagai negara net zero carbon emission pada tahun 2050. Jadi kita menyokong usaha ini, dan inilah antara bidang-bidang baru yang akan kita terokai di bawah dasar pandang ke timur yang seterusnya.
The Prime Minister said this in a media conference at the end of his official working visit to Japan. This year is the 65th anniversary of Malaysia-Japan diplomatic relations and also the 40th anniversary of the Look East policy. Previously, Malaysia and Japan upgraded their relations from enhanced partnership to strategic partnership in 2015. During the bilateral talks, both leaders also agreed to step up cooperation in economy, trade and investment. Japan is the fourth largest trading partner to Malaysia since 2015, with trade value amounting to $35.9 billion last year, an increase of about 20% compared to $29.6 billion in 2020. The country is also the third largest investor in Malaysia in terms of projects in the manufacturing sector.
Kestabilan politik lah yang menyebabkan keyakinan pelabur-pelabur daripada luar untuk melabur di negara kita, dan juga undang-undang kita yang jelas, dasar kita yang jelas dari segi pelaburan ini. Sebab itulah kita sentiasa menjadi destinasi pilihan, dan saya gembira dengan perjumpaan saya di Jepun ini apabila Kapten ketua-ketua industri ini masih melihat Malaysia sebagai hub yang terbaik bagi mereka membuat pelaburan.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said he also assured Kishida that the process of setting up the branch campus of Tsukuba University in Malaysia would be finalised soon. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said a special ASEAN-Japan summit would be held to discuss in-depth regional and international issues.
Saya mencadangkan kepada PM Perdana Menteri Kishida supaya engagement dilakukan bukan saja dengan kita, Malaysia, tetapi juga dengan ASEAN. Kerana saya maklumkan ASEAN biasanya membuat pendirian ASEAN, bukan pendirian negara-negara secara berasingan. Jadi saya kata lebih baik kalau membuat engagement dengan ASEAN, dan saya mencadangkan supaya diadakan special summit iaitu antara Jepun dan ASEAN, dan PM Kishida bersetuju untuk mengadakan special summit ASEAN-Jepun pada tahun hadapan.
He added he also told Kishida that Malaysia would not compromise on any form of threat to its sovereignty in the South China Sea. In handling the complex issue of the South China Sea and involving interstate relations, all related countries must remain committed to maintaining freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. The Prime Minister also said the actions taken by Malaysia when there was an issue of encroachment in its waters in the South China Sea was in the form of protests and negotiations with the parties involved, as well as to resolve any related issues via dialogue. On the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said he informed Kishida that Malaysia did not support any violation of fundamental principles, such as the sovereignty and territorial integrity of each country and international law. He further said Malaysia was also concerned about the impact of the conflict, including those experienced by countries not directly involved in it, like on the aspect of food security. In another development, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said Datuk Zuraida Kamarudin is still the Plantation Industries and Commodities Minister and she would carry out her duties as usual until he has made a decision on the matter. The Prime Minister also said she can still attend the Cabinet meeting and her position would be decided after they meet later.
Saya pun tak pecat dia sebagai Menteri Kabinet, jadi dia masih lagi Menteri Kabinet. Sehingga mesyuarat Rabu ni, sehingga dia berjumpa saya, dan walaupun dia berjumpa saya tak tahu buat keputusan atau tidak, maknanya sehingga saya memutuskan untuk dia berhenti sebagai menteri dan saya lantik menteri yang lain. Kalau saya lantik menteri yang lain. Jadi kita tak tahu lagi apa sebenarnya. Jadi sebelum itu teruskan seperti biasa.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri added he only found out through media coverage and Datuk Zuraida had not contacted him on the matter. He also said that any changes in the cabinet lineup should be presented to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. He also maintained that his cabinet is still intact, despite it is made up of representatives of various parties, stressing that the current cabinet members will put all their political differences aside when making decisions in the interest of the country. Datuk Zuraida, previously of Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, announced on Thursday that she has quit the party to join Parti Bangsa Malaysia (PBM). Meanwhile, a joint committee will be set up to implement the Memorandum of Cooperation (MOC) to send skilled Malaysian workers to work in Japan. Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan said the MOC will act as the best platform for eligible skilled Malaysian workers to work in the advanced technology-based employment ecosystem in Japan.
Dari segi dasar kita telah setuju supaya 1,000 belia daripada Malaysia dihantar ke negara Jepun untuk menjalani latihan khas on the job training, di mana sepanjang mereka di Jepun mereka akan dibayar gaji yang lumayan, pada masa yang sama mereka akan dibekalkan dengan latihan untuk mengurus dengan teknologi yang canggih.
Datuk Seri Saravanan also said Malaysian workers would have the opportunity to explore the various fields of technology, which is the pulse of the development of the industrial sector in the country. He pointed out that they will be able to bring the skills that they learned, as well as a Japanese work culture, back to Malaysia after the employment contract in the country has ended. He added that his ministry will lead the Joint Committee for Malaysia. The MOC was finalised by Datuk Seri Saravanan with Japanese Justice Minister Yoshihisa Furukawa on Thursday. And the exchange of the MOC documents was witnessed by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob and his Japanese counterpart Fumio Kishida on Friday. The government is not planning to close the country's border gates at this time, despite cases of monkeypox detected in several countries. Deputy Health Minister Datuk Dr. Nur Azmi Ghazali said health checks have been tightened at all entry points, especially for international travellers from countries exposed to the virus, to curb the spread of infection in Malaysia.
Sebab kita nak buka kita punya negara kepada ekonomi, pada tourism. Jadi pintu masuk antarabangsa melalui Johor ke, melalui Penang ke, melalui KL ke, kita memang sangat ketat sekarang ni untuk melihat kepada tanda-tanda dan ciri-ciri yang ada monkeypox punya simptom.
Maksudnya KKM tak akan menasihatkan untuk tutup semula pintu sepadan di Johor, terutamanya
setakat ni tidak,
walaupun ada kes monkeypox di
Singapura. Saya tahu monkeypox dah mula merebak Dan setakat ni tidak ada di Malaysia dan kita memperketatkan kawalan pintu masuk kita. Tapi belum tutup lah.
Datuk Dr. Nur Azmi said this to reporters after officiating the 7th National Peri-Operative Death Studies Conference in Ayakruh, Melaka on Saturday. He also assured that the country is fully prepared to handle the virus, even though no cases have yet to be detected in Malaysia. He added all Health Ministry staff have also been briefed on the matter to closely screen travellers who arrive from countries which have reported cases of monkeypox. If symptoms are detected, an initial isolation measure will be implemented at the country's entry points. A total of 180 Community Development Department or KEMAS preschools and nurseries have been closed due to the hand, foot and mouth disease HFMD as of Friday. Rural Development Minister Datuk Seri Madzir Khalid said the closure involved 105 preschools while the remaining are nurseries throughout the country except for Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. Datuk Seri Madzir said the move to close the premises was made based on advice and recommendations by the Health Ministry, as each case detected will be reported to the authorities. He pointed out that these premises will be closed for 10 days and appropriate actions, including disinfection, will be carried out by KEMAS officials.
Kita tutup ni sebab apabila ada jangkitan tu di sekolah tu, walaupun 2 orang ke seorang ke, tetapi kita kira tutup. Bukan maknanya penularan tu sampai habis satu sekolah. Jadi ada saja budak yang tu kita tutup. Jadi setakat ini sekolah yang telah ditutup 180. Dan kita sedang membuat pemantauan.
Datuk Seri Madzir said this to reporters after attending a get-together and Aidilfitri celebration with Pahang KEMAS staff in Kuantan on Saturday. He said during the closure period, home-based teaching and learning (PDPR) sessions will be conducted based on previous experience during the COVID-19 pandemic. He also assured that KEMAS would monitor the development and take proactive measures to address the spread of the disease on their premises based on standard operating procedures (SOP). Datuk Seri Madzir added that body temperature scanning as well as inspection for other HFMD symptoms such as rashes or blisters on the skin, fever and mouth ulcer should be carried out at the entrance of the premises. Presently, KEMAS operates 10,765 preschools and 549 nurseries nationwide. 26 people missing after boat capsizes in Indonesia. News from the foreign front when we return. After a boat with 43 people on board capsized off Sulawesi Island, prompting an ongoing search operation with a group of 40 rescuers at sea searching for survivors. According to authorities, the motorboat that had left Petor port in Makassar on Thursday midnight was reported missing the next day when it failed to arrive at its destination. It was said that 17 people were found and rescued by passing tugboats, who were then taken to Banjarmasin in South Kalimantan and Jeneponto in South Sulawesi. The country's search and rescue agency stated that a fuel shortage and bad weather might be the cause of the accident. Indonesia's weather agency had earlier warned of waves up to 2.5 meters in Makassar Strait areas, and that could cause safety risks. The top safety official admitted on Friday that police have made the wrong decision to wait for an extended period outside the classroom without storming in, where the gunman in Tuesday's school shooting was killing children and teachers inside. The head of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Stephen McCraw, has confirmed that there had been a 40-minute gap from the police unit's arrival at the school to the moment they decided to storm the classroom where the gunman had barricaded himself.
From the benefit of hindsight, where I'm sitting now, of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that. But again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, from what we know, we believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can.
It was said that officers delayed entering because they did not believe it was still an active shooter situation, despite multiple calls by pupils inside begging for police to come. The senior officer on the scene decided to wait until the school janitor arrived with the keys, as they thought that either no kids were at risk or no one was living anymore. The delayed response therefore has led to growing public anger and scrutiny of how law enforcement handled the situation. Thai workers who were sacked last year from a factory supplying global lingerie brands, including Victoria's Secret, will receive $8.3 million in what labor activists say is the biggest settlement of its kind in the global garment industry. About 1,200 workers were laid off without severance pay and wages owed to them by Brilliant Alliance Thai Global Company Limited after it went bankrupt and shut down its factory in Samut Prakan province in March 2021. The factory also produced underwear for plus-size American brands Lane Bryant and Torrid, owned by Sycamore Partners. But only Victoria's Secret contributed to the settlement via a loan arrangement with the factory's owners. In a statement, the company has confirmed that an agreement had been reached, adding that they regret that they were not ultimately in a position to conclude the matter on their own. Thus, in order to ensure the workers receive their full severance amounts owed, the company agreed to advance the severance funds to the factory owners. An international labour advocacy group said the settlement, financed by Victoria's Secret in a loan arrangement with BAT's owner, could set a precedent for global brands to better protect the rights of workers in their supply chains. Real Madrid favourites for a Champions League final. Sports coming up next. sports hockey, the 2022 Asia Cup. The national men's team managed to hold South Korea to a 2-2 draw in their opening Super 4 clash on Saturday. Ashran Hamsani emerged as the saviour of the national team when he scored the equaliser in the second half, thus denying South Korea the chance to avenge their slim 4-5 loss to the Speedy Tigers in a Group B match on Tuesday. Group B champions Malaysia had earlier gone 1-0 up through a third-minute penalty corner goal by defensive stalwart Razi Rahim, which is also his 9th goal in this campaign. However, the Malaysians' joy was short-lived as Lee Nam Yong then made it 1-1 also through a penalty corner set piece in the 12th minute, before teammate Jeong Jun-woo put the South Koreans 2-1 ahead with a field goal in the 21st minute. National head coach A. Arul Selvaraj's men then continued to pound the South Korean goalmouth, and they finally got the deserved equaliser when Ashran capitalised on a defensive lapse to score a field goal in the 40th minute. Malaysia, who have qualified for the World Cup 2023 after advancing to the Super 4, are set to meet India on Sunday before wrapping up their round-robin fixture against Japan on May 31st. The top 2 teams in the Super 4 competition will then vie for the Asia Cup 2022 trophy in the final on June 1st. The UEFA Champions League now. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp said Real Madrid's history in the Champions League makes them favourites for Sunday's final. He, however, stressed that if his team are at the top of their game, they are really difficult to beat.
Then I would say, from my point of view, it's Real Madrid because of experience. But actually, I want us to be on the same level, these kind of things, thinking us on the same level, want to be us in this game, being completely ourselves. And if we are on the top of our game, we are difficult to play.
Klopp also asked why someone thought it would be a good idea to put the pitch in so soon before the match. UEFA confirmed a new hybrid pitch finished being laid on Wednesday, arousing questions about the quality of the surface. Moving on to Formula 1, the Monaco Grand Prix. Red Bull's Sergio Perez lapped fastest in final practice on Saturday with Ferrari's home favourite Charles Leclerc second on the timesheets. Carlos Sainz was third for Ferrari with Red Bull's Formula 1 Championship leader Max Verstappen fourth. On a sunny afternoon in the Mediterranean Principality, Perez's best lap of 1 minute 12.476 seconds was 0.041 quicker than Leclerc, with Sainz 0.370 off this pace. 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton was 7th fastest for Mercedes, with teammate George Russell 9th. Verstappen leads Leclerc by 6 points after 6 races, with the Ferrari driver seeking to become the first Monegasque to score points at home since Louis Chiron finished third in 1950.
Ayo semarakkan sokongan anda untuk Harimau Malaya. Siri persahabatan antarabangsa secara langsung hanya di TV9 dan Astro 149.
total of 2,683 teachers appointed on a contract of service (COS) basis in June 2020 will be reappointed on contractual basis. Senior Education Minister Datuk Dr. Azmi said the Education Service Commission (SPP) has agreed to extend the services of the Education Service Officers Grade 41 after their contract ends on June 9th.
Guru COS 2020 yang akan tamat pada bulan Jun ini, jangan risau, kita telah dapat maklum balas daripada SPP semalam bahawa tempohnya akan dilanjutkan bagi membolehkan segala proses yang perlu dilaksanakan itu dapat dilaksanakan dengan baik.
He said this at a media conference after the groundbreaking ceremony for a new school in Putrajaya on Saturday. He also said the result of the interview of COS teachers under the one-off recruitment of grade DG41 Education Services Officers can be viewed on the SPP portal. On the construction of the new school, he pointed out that the project, which involves a total cost of 38 million ringgit, was expected to be completed in November 2023. Datuk Dr. Azmi added that the new school, which would have 36 classrooms, was expected to be operational in January 2024. To date, there are 16 primary schools and 11 secondary schools in Putrajaya. The use of the Land Acquisition Act 1960 is not the best strategy to make way for the Kampung Sungai Baru redevelopment project in Kuala Lumpur, following the negotiation impasse on the compensation between the developer and residents. Former Titiwangsa Member of Parliament Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani stressed that the developer must come up with a win-win situation to help the affected homeowners relocate, instead of using the act to evict them, as this will lead to other problems, especially for the residents who have lost their homes. Datuk Seri Johari, who is also Yayasan Bena Nusa chairman, said that the developer in the Kampung Sungai Baru redevelopment project must be responsible in solving all the problems raised by the residents. He added that the elected representative for the constituency should also act as mediator to ensure that both parties can reach an agreement and not allow the developer to set one-sided conditions, as the interests of the affected residents must also be taken care of.
Sebab itu saya tak bersetuju dari segi pengambilan tanah ini. Kita kena berbincang dengan pemaju, dengan penduduk-penduduk yang tidak mahu, tidak dapat menyelesaikan masalah mereka. Bukan sebab dia tidak mahu pembangunan. Dia nak tahu kat mana mereka ni nak dipindahkan.
Datuk Seri Johari said this when met by reporters at the 2022 Aidilfitri celebration at the Kampung Baru Gateway in the Federal Capital on Saturday. He also said that such issues did not occur for any development in the Malay settlement during his time as MP, as all the problems that cropped up were solved before the project even began. He pointed out that the developer should come up with an agreement to provide temporary accommodation for the affected residents, instead of serving them with eviction notices, as well as offer fair compensation to the house owners.
Pemaju ataupun pihak atasan mesti bertanggungjawab, sebab inilah tempat tinggal kami. Mana kami nak tinggal kalau tak ada rumah? Dengan harga pempasan yang 200,000, mana nak beli rumah kat KL ni? Cuba imaginekan.
Dalam masa sampai sekarang dah ambil masa dekat 5 tahun. Yang duduk di rumah transit tu pun dekat 5 tahun dah. So kalau kita fikir, kalau pemaju betul-betul steady, pemaju betul-betul berkelayakan, tak ada nak ambil masa panjang macam ni.
Nightline draws to a close this time around. We leave you with visuals of a cultural festival celebrated in West Sulawesi, Indonesia, known as Sayang Patuktuk. In addition to preserving the traditions of the Mandar tribe, the festival was also held to introduce cultural heritage to UNESCO officials. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe.